We got to talk a little Georgia recruiting. The Dogs, they fell 24-21 on Saturday night in Athens, but some of the most sought-after recruits in America were there to watch. We're going to talk with Dawgs HQ recruiting analyst Jeremy Johnson. We're going to find out how the Bama game may have impacted recruiting. Now, before we get into it, you guys do me a favor, hit subscribe. Look, we're almost to 100K. You guys can help us out. Georgia fans, jump on board. All right. Let's bring in Jeremy Johnson. You were lucky enough to be at this game, win or lose. It was an instant classic. What are recruits telling you about their experience?
Yeah, the atmosphere. I mean, you start talking about a night game in Athens. I mean, anywhere in the SEC, it's just like, man, it's that those fans get to sit around all day and tailgate, and it gets really loud. And you could just, I was down on the field before the game, and you could just like feel. All right, this is a little different than week one against Austin P. Marshall, I guess, and then the next week against Austin P. There's a different vibe around the city of Athens as well. So that's kind of been the thing everyone has talked about just so far is that, man, they just really love the atmosphere and being down there, kind of being in the middle of it.
Yeah, and of course, the outcome wasn't what Georgia fans had hoped, but you can't take those memories of pregame and just the game going back and forth. Those are things that those recruits are going to remember. And, there was fireworks before the fourth quarter, but there was also fireworks on the recruiting trail before the game. Dogs landed 2 commitments, 2027 offensive lineman Kelsey Adams, the number 9 ranked offensive tackle in America, and another interior offensive lineman, Kyson Mallard. He's from Albany, Georgia. He goes 6'5", 310. Did they arrive? Do you think they arrived with the intention to commit, or did the atmosphere just get them going?
I think both probably had it in their hearts for a while. I've talked to Kelsey Adams probably 5 or 6 times already in his recruitment, just because he's a guy that's been on Georgia's radar so much. I think the first time I remember him camping is maybe 7th or 8th grade. So, Georgia's been one of the programs right there at the front for him, and he. I guess he just was like, this is the perfect moment to make my announcement. And then being there is just, I guess it all kind of came together. I really want to kind of catch up with him and see exactly what it was. And I think Kyson kind of was the same way. George has been on him for a while, and, he's dealing with an injury right now. So he was out there on crutches and taking in the atmosphere. I'm just like, this dude, it must have been really what he was looking for, because he just was like, let's just do it.
Yeah,
there wasn't a whole lot of buzz around it. There wasn't a whole lot of lead up to it. I guess he just felt like, hey, why am I waiting on this? And for Georgia, it's two big additions, just because the offensive line is a place where you can never have enough of these type of guys.
Yeah, and 2 spots are now filled on that offensive line. Georgia's is involved with some others. Maybe we'll see some more dominoes falling because of this. So spots are going quick in the Dogs 2027 class. Now, we're going to talk about some of the top 2027 names on campus, but I saw you had an interview up on Dogs HQ with Jared Dowdy, really interesting offensive lineman. About 6 weeks ago, he was committed to Georgia State. He reopened his recruitment, and everybody in America has jumped in this one. He recently narrowed it down to a top 5. Georgia is involved. Do you think Georgia's the team to beat? Inside Scoop fans, let's talk game time, because the MLB playoffs are starting and tickets aren't going to be easy to find, but you and your buddies need them. And getting deals on last-minute tickets can be frustrating when all you want to do is be there for the moment your team runs out onto the diamond. Well, thankfully, the Game Time app gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing ticket experiences, and it only takes a few simple clips. The app, it's easy to use, and Game Time guarantee means that you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay. That's why I use the Game Time app. It's super simple, and it makes the experience of buying great seats a breeze. Also, one of the coolest features I've seen is the Game Time lowest price guarantee. It's where Game Time will credit you 100% of the difference to guarantee you're getting the lowest price if you find cheaper tickets elsewhere. All right, here's what we're going to do. You're going to download the Game Time app. You're going to create an account. Use promo code INSIDESCOOP. That's promo code INSIDESCOOP for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's INSIDESCOOP for $20 off Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
I think they probably were at one point. I think it's definitely more of an open discussion at this point. Alabama was a big offer for him. I know he has some real interest in that program. Missouri seems to have his attention as well, but I think Georgia getting him on campus as much as they have is a plus, just because he's so close. I know he wants to kind of stay near home, and Georgia was kind of the program that kicked off this whole thing. They had him on campus and they offered it, and literally, like you said, every program in America said, wait, there's a guy that's 6'6", 280 pounds that can play left tackle is in the state of Georgia, and we haven't really paid him any attention. Let's get in here. So that's kind of what happened, and I think that gives Georgia an opportunity to kind of set the pace there. We'll see how these next couple of weeks of visits goes for him once he gets to Alabama, once he gets to Auburn, and I know he'll be back at Georgia for an official visit on I think the 15th. So it's a battle, and it's going to be, and I think it's going to be all the way up until the end. But I do think Georgia has he told me they're top 4, which is generous considering there's only 6 teams that he did the top 6, but I think they're a little higher than that. But it's shaping up to be an Alabama and Georgia battle, and I'm interested to see kind of what happens over the next maybe 4 weeks with him.
Uh-huh. It's going to be interesting, going to be heated. Yeah, he's got a couple visits planned. We'll see what happens, but interesting that you noted kind of you kind of make it seem like maybe Georgia Alabama battle here for Dowdy.
Yeah, that's kind of where I feel. I feel like when Alabama offered, that kind of shifted things a little bit. It's like, okay, well, let me actually look at this. I think Missouri had his attention because they've been building a relationship with him. I mean, we talked about the Georgia offer kind of starting off his recruitment, but Missouri was kind of in there talking to him and kind of building that relationship before any of these programs were. So they kind of got a head start there, but obviously he has some big options and he has a big opportunity, especially with, I think, numbers and, kind of looking around the class. I mean, Georgia has Ekene Oboko, and they took 2 guys last year as well. So it's like, all right, where does he kind of fit numbers wise at Georgia? I mean, just with if he's trying to get on the field earlier in his career, I mean that definitely probably plays a part for him. I haven't asked him about that, but I'm just kind of wondering out loud just how much those type things play into it for him.
All right, let's talk about some of these big-time 2027 names on campus. David DJ Jacobs was one, safety KJ Caldwell, offensive tackle Joshua Sam Appel. So many. Who were some of the more important names that you recognized on the sidelines when it comes to Georgia 2027 recruiting?
Yeah, I think you named DJ Jacobs. That was one of the guys. I mean, I think this class in Georgia with the edges, they had, obviously the Damian Guyton's the number 1 recruit in the, rankings for Rivals. So
was he there?
He was not there, but him and DJ Jacobs have been highly targeted by Georgia. So now that they've missed on LaDamian, I mean, that even makes DJ that much more important just because they can't miss on both of these guys in state, considering they only have taken one guy and gotten one guy in the class of 2026 in Kamar Brooks. So you try to get as many of these impact guys as you can at that edge position, especially when they're right there in your state. And DJ Jacobs is a legacy. His dad played for Georgia. He has a younger brother who's also being recruited by Georgia. And, he's a Roswell guy. So that's an hour and 20 minutes up the road from Athens. So that matters. And I think, Georgia has to make sure that they continue to prioritize him, and having him on campus for big games like that only can do more for them, just to be able to say, hey, this is what Georgia is about. You come here, this is what playing, you're going to play in these types of games pretty much every week, every other week, So I think he's probably the one that mattered the most. Kamari Dorsey is a highly rated 5-star. I think he's a 5-star safety from Hampton, Georgia. He's been a big-time target. Obviously, Georgia Tech's made a big impression on him, too. So having him on campus was huge. I'm trying to think of some of the Andrew Beard is a local guy. He plays right over here at Prince Avenue. It's about 20 minutes from campus. So he's a big target at the running back spot. His uncle is Garrison Hurst, who was a great running back for Georgia. So there's a lot of connections there. He's probably on campus literally every time something something important happens at Georgia, Andrew Beard's probably there, and that kind of tells you what he thinks of that program. So they're going to have to fight to get him to land him and lock him
Yep.
up. But that's one where getting him on campus for these moments is big too, just like it is for Jacobs.
All right. Well, it was, like I said, it wasn't the outcome that Georgia fans desired, but these recruiting implications will go on. Georgia fans, talk to us. How are you feeling about some of these top 2027 targets? Who is your most important recruit on the board? Let us know. Comment section below.